So, I came across this website called the Library of Babel.info, which is this one here. And when I came across it, I thought I've got to do a video about this. This has fascinated me since I found it. So, here's a question. How original is your work? So, there's probably poets watching this, writers. How original is your work? Have you copied it from anywhere? What if I was to tell you that the Library of Babel contains everything you've ever written? Weirdly, what if I was to tell you the Library of Babel contains everything you will ever write? Or that the Library of Babel contains everything anyone ever will ever write? It's true. Right. Let me just prove this. I'll do a search, and if I hover over the search, you'll see it's actually doing something to each of the letters, and that might give you a clue as what's actually happening here. You can enter up to 3,200 characters, so that's letters, full stop, comma, space. You can't put numbers in, you can't put capital letters in. And you're either going, oh yeah, I can see how this works now, or you're kind of going, what? So, here's a poem I have not published anywhere. So there you go, Maria. This is a poem called Spirit of Maria, written by Dave Pitt, and then there's the poem. So, like I said, there's no carriage returns in to lay it out. It is just lowercase text, commas, full stops, and spaces. Okay? So there's no way this site can know about this. Literally, no one has seen this poem but me. Right? Search. It's found it. There. And there it is. Exactly what I searched for. On a page on its own. There it is. On a page filled with random letters and symbols. There it is on a page with what it thinks are random words, but I think I don't know if intersection's a word, fortune's a word, Willemite. I'm not entirely sure. It sounds like a Marmite rip-off to me, but you can see what it's done, and then. Even put, he says accidentally pressing the wrong button on his mouse. Even puts the top bit in the title at the top of the page. What's going on? So, like I said, the people who have cottoned on that this will only accept lowercase letters, spaces, full stops, and commas might have already worked it out. So, essentially, what it's done is, let's say you do a list where you go AAA. AAB, AAC, AAD, and you'll go all the way down to AAZ. And then you start with ABA, ABB, ABC, all the way down to ABZ. Eventually, you're going to then get to ZZZ, and it's going to be a really long list. But you're going to have just a lot of random three letters jumbled together. You're also going to have every three-letter word in the English language. Yeah, there's a lot of detritus, but there's also every word. That's essentially what this site does. It takes every possible combination of all 3,200 characters that make up each page and present them somewhere in the library. That means everything that has ever been written and everything that will be written exists in the library. Now, when you think about it, you've got 26 letters of the alphabet, then you've got a space, a full stop, and a comma. So there's 29. So every character has got 29 variations. So it's 29 times 29 times 29 times 29 times all the way through. It's a massive library. To give you a clue, it's broken down into hexagons. So each hexagon's got 4 walls. Each wall has 5 shelves. Each shelf has 32 volumes, and each volume has 410 pages. The amount of volumes they have, or the amount of books they have in this library is, he said, looking at his notes, 10 to the power of 4,677. So 10 with 4,677 zeros on the end. That's how many 410 page books they have. You may be thinking, well, surely what they do is just take whatever you're searching for and just jumble it up in between loads of rubbish. No. Because if you look here, this is a reference. So it's that hexagon. Wall 1, Shelf 1, Volume 18, page 235. Anyone can come back here and they will find that there. Now, obviously, what this means is anything you write isn't original, because this website, by the mathematical formula that's created all this, has already written everything you were ever going to write. You might have only written it in 3,200 word, 200 character chunks, but it's still written it. So, is anything that you've written been original? Now, obviously, when you kind of start getting your head around just how massive this thing is, the chances of stumbling on something that makes sense. So they've got a random button. If I hit random, it takes me to a random page in a random book on a random shelf on a random wall in a random hexagon. Okay? And that's garbage. I can click Anglicize, and it's supposed to highlight the kind of English words that are in there. So you can see there's some in there, and then there's unisnox. I'm not entirely sure what that means. But I can hit random and it'll just take me to a random page. Again, nothing really there. However, just think about this. 50 years from now, someone writes the best poem ever. Changes the world, it's that good. That poem already exists in this library. Sure, if it's over 3,200 characters, it might be broken down over a couple of pages or whatever, but it exists. If you hit that random button and happen to go to the right page, which is insanely improbable, but if it happened, you could see here the best poem ever written, which actually isn't going to be written for another 50 years. My understanding of physics isn't great, but I understand that they're looking for this theory of everything. So there's the very tiny and there's the very big, and they don't quite mash together at the minute. And they're aware that there's a gap in their knowledge and they need this theory of everything. You could hit the random button, and if that theory of everything can be written in words in under 3,200 characters, it would be in here. And you might hit that random button and go to it. And that freaks me out. And I think that's wonderful. Is anything that you write original? Well, it's very different, this, creating things from a mathematical formula and it being very kind of, it generates every possibility. And you purposefully sitting down and writing something. That's a very different thing. But it just... The thing that everything that will ever be written is in here. Everything that has been written is in here. You could do a search and genuinely search for anything under 3,200 characters. Dave Pitt is a disappointment to his family. Full stop. Press search. There it is on a page all on its own with all the other characters are spaces, so it just says that on its. Every sentence you could ever possibly write will exist on a page on its own, because all the other characters will be down as a space. It will also exist in a bundle of other characters. It probably exists several thousand million times throughout this, because it's probably going to be there, and it's going to be there, and it's going to be there. You can do just a random selection of letters, search, and it'll find them. This freaks me out. And I keep coming back here, and I keep going. I keep trying to get my head around it, but the one thing I keep doing is just hitting that random button, because although there's 10 to the power of 4,677 zeros of books, and there's 410 pages per book, I might one day hit that random, and something appears on that screen that changes my life, that advances human knowledge, and I just find that fascinating. And it's also, I don't know, I find it kind of nice to think that everything I've ever written and everything I will write is already in here, and everything anyone else has written or anyone else will write is in here, and it's in here for as long as the site exists. And I'm blown away by that. I'm absolutely blown away by it. So, do you write anything original? Not entirely sure you do, to be fair. That doesn't mean we should all go around copying each other, stealing each other's work. I'm definitely not saying that. It's just, is anyone else looking at the page for swear words? It's just me, isn't it? I'm going to go off this page. So yeah, this is why I wanted to do this video. I just find this site fascinating, and maybe you will as well. Maybe you'll just waste hours of your time on here like I've done. But it's wonderful, and I love it to bits. So yeah, Library of Babel. Have a play.